podcast P.
Yeah.
It just looks bad.
It's about,
and it's bad for business.
That Paul George contract, I think, is like a 5-year deal, something nuts. It looks nuts as it goes. Embiid being unavailable is on.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. Please like the video and subscribe. Our target is only 1,000 likes. Paul George just suspended his podcast. Amid an 8-game losing streak for the Sixers, Paul George announced he was taking a break from Podcast P with Paul George to focus more on improving his physical and mental conditioning as the team tries to salvage the season. Paul George made the announcement at the end of an episode on Wednesday after an interview with Dwight Howard. He has been doing Podcast P since 2023 when he was with the LA Clippers, making him one of the athletes to jump on the personal podcast train. Since then, Paul George has moved from the Clippers to the Sixers, and the results so far have been discouraging. Through 38 games, Paul George is averaging the worst numbers in points, rebounds, and free throw percentage since 2015, the year he returned from a horrific leg injury.
All right, what else we got?
Why is Paul George on the board? I just want to understand.
Oh man,
Because Paul George last week,
Ski Mask Hall of Fame.
he might be the. Yo, don't you wish for the days when all you had to complain about was Tobias Harris contract? Remember that?
And he killing.
In Detroit.
He's doing well.
I didn't want to lose to
Paul George said that he's stopping his podcast to focus on winning a championship.
Thanks.
And I thought that was Centel, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
He really said that.
So the question for me, not to take it off of Paul George, but because I think that's fair, is in general, should NBA players be allowed to have podcasts
while they're in season?
I don't like it.
Or even while they're in play.
Yeah.
Versus the ones that are retired right now.
I'm not a fan of the sports athletes having podcasts during season. I've never been a fan of it.
I stand with Ice. I almost wanted to say, really not if your team is doing bad. I can't see how your conversation with the owner is going in that respect. Jalen Brunson makes it tough for me to have that argument because him and Josh Hart have a podcast that I want them to stop. But every time we're down by 12 with 30 seconds left, he scores fucking 14 points.
Right.
So I can't say anything about Jalen Brunson's performance, but would I like that podcast to stop during season? Yeah. But then they got Dolan on the next podcast that they promoting, which is like a clusterfuck for Knicks fans because Dolan has had strict media rules since he inherited the team from his dad.
Yeah.
So for him to be sitting with a player and talking is like phenomenal. It's almost like the Yankees changing the beard rule.
I think it's dope. I think it gives them something mentally to distract their focus. They work out every day, but they don't work out hard every day. You know what I mean? Like they watch film, they might do walkthroughs and shit like that, but then they have a huge portion of their day that belongs to them. So if these are things that bring their anxiety down, it's fun, they enjoy doing it.
Keep them out the clubs.
And that part. We in New York City, bro. We've seen what New York does. We've seen what New York does to athletes. You know what I'm saying? So if they could do this,
you've seen it for sure, right?
Yeah, you too.
Talk about it.
Yeah, you got eyes.
We talking about you right now. Talk about it. You've seen it for sure.
I've seen it for sure.
You was one of the niggas that did it.
I don't hoop.
Yeah. You didn't need to.
Anyway, so I think I'm for it.
I'm against it.
Even what you said, if it takes their focus, like if your team is ass, I don't want to see you focused on nothing else. It's Kyler Murray playing Call of Duty. You could do it, and I just don't want to know that you're doing that. To me, you should be trying to get better. Y'all should be trying to focus on how to turn this team around and try to get some wins out there. If you sitting here kicking it with your homies or whatever on a podcast about, it just seems focus is off.
They human, bro. So to Joe's point with Brunson and Josh Hart, they winning.
Yeah, but
that's an outlier.
No, that's not true. Draymond is winning.
Draymond's winning too, but for me, it's not about.
Bron is winning.
If you're winning, no one complains. If you're losing, people complain. But for me, and that's ultimately what it comes down to, right? As a fan or as an owner, it's the perception of it for me, as well as the effectiveness of it. The first question is, can you pod and be good at this, at your job? And I don't know. Some people can, some people can't. Before podcast, Paul George was sitting out games. Before podcast existed, he was fucking coming up short in playoffs. At least in a lot of people's minds. The numbers don't really show that, but whatever, right? It's a perception of it. So if I'm the Sixers owner and they're selling tickets for $1 right now in Philly, They're literally selling tickets for.
You ain't been down there in a long time neither.
No, I sold all my tickets. I paid like $200,000 for those seats.
Look at Ish won another date.
No, I didn't.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't go.
Who said?
No, he didn't go anymore, yo. He gonna call you when he go again?
So if I can't give these tickets away, and Embiid is injured, Paul George ain't playing, and then I go to YouTube to type Paul George in to find out when he's going to play, and instead I got another episode of Podcast P.
Yeah.
It just looks bad.
It's bad.
And it's bad for business.
That Paul George contract, I think, is like a 5-year deal, something nuts. It looks nuts as it goes. Embiid being unavailable is an understatement. They're now talking about getting their money back on his contract if he's unable to play a year from the date that it's.
They call
Yo, you gonna give my money? I don't care about all this.
Yeah,
it's over now, right? We gotta go figure out what that bet was.
When it's $5,000.
$5.
Yeah, you just gotta send that.
I give it to you right now if you want it.
You have $5,000 cash in them jeans?
I was going. You'd be able to see them. You'd be able to see the bill.
You see the serial number.
I was going to bring it to you in cash.
Our man is doing bad. Our man is doing bad. He doing fucked up.
4 years, 211.
Yeah, he must be fucked up.
Our man doing bad.
Oh, he collects on his bets.
Nah, but he usually I never see.
There's a hunger in his voice.
Nigga, you touch him. He got a fever. You good, my nigga? You doing shit looking shaky for you, dog. I don't know what plan you got.
It's tough out
but
here.
I ain't falling for it, nigga.
I'm saying it's
niggas
tough
brought
out
fake water in here, all type of shit. Faucet water with niggas'
tough.
names on it.
It's tough. Don't always assume I'm doing good. Check on your strong friends.
He making $53 million this year. He's at career lows.
Joe? Ooh, Joe?
Yeah, Joe about that. About 40. That shit is nuts. Yo, he making 50. He signed a 4-year deal for 211 and change.
You know,
they sick.
He's killing.
They sick.
And as a fan,
he averaged 16 points a game.
For as much money as I spend on season tickets, when I actually see it as like y'all are fucking with my money right now. Like I feel disrespected. I feel disrespected to watch somebody not play. I mean, when we went to the game, he was just sitting there chilling.
Yeah, he was chilling.
And to see that, and then to watch you be on a podcast every day. And podcast is different than playing basketball. I get that. Clearly, we proved that this weekend. But like at some point, like you got to look like you giving the effort. You know what I'm saying? As an owner, I think they should just make a rule.
I can't say nothing about Paul George negative ever, because many years ago we was heading in the whip. Right there, right there by Greenhouse. We was walking in whip. And I was behind him in the line. Or he was behind me in the line. I got respect for him. I got respect for him, man.
How many?
That shit is a cheat code. 6'9" in the line.
Decent looking, nice skin.
Tattoos, fresh lineup, good contract. I'm in there bummy as hell shooting. I don't care.
Joe Budden.
I got immense respect for Paul George, so I can't say nothing about him, man.
I have a question real quick.